We're getting there. It is so humid in this studio. Joining us right now, pitcher in pitcher, as we continue our conversations with Centerstone. And we've just had such a great time the last 6 months having these very important conversations about substance use disorder treatment and the ways that Centerstone has been that national leader in really helping people tackle some of the hardest fought battles of their life. And Erin Camfield, the Director of Advancement, joins us now. How are we doing, Erin, this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there. You know, I shared this with the audience. I haven't shared it with you, but I'm on day 2 after 7 years of nicotine and vaping. I have quit, and it is it's a little bit tougher than I thought it was going to be, but we're getting there.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's a huge step, and I am very proud of you for making that step and that decision.
Well, thank you very much. And you know, Erin, after the last 6 months or 7 months now that we've been talking and utilizing all the great benefits from the Recover With This campaign, it's great to have you back on again. And then overall, you know, just how has the campaign and how has this Recover With Us program been for Centerstone and all of the other programs that are a part of the umbrella?
So I believe that it's been doing really well. I'm not directly part of the campaign, but, you know, I get to see all of the advertisements, the Recover With Us. I hear it on the radio stations, and every single time that I hear mention of it, it makes me smile because I love the organization that I work for, and I love the work that they do. I see the impact that they make in people's lives. Out at events, we have people that come up and thank us for the work that we do and letting us know that, you know, they are in recovery because of Centerstone. And it's just wonderful to see people happy, healthy, and their lives forever changed for the better because they had the courage and the strength to ask for help. And they had resources like Centerstone to give them what they need for recovery.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, too, Erin, the last time we spoke, was that a couple of months ago about the life story?
I haven't spoken to you about it since last year.
Was it a year ago? Oh, no.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm very memorable. So
you are.
You know,
I really thought I just talked to you.
I went to pick up a donation for the event just yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, we know exactly who you are and why you're here. We remember your face."
Maybe it's just the withdrawing from nicotine that's making me slap happy. But I swore I had just talked to you about this wonderful event, and you know, coming right back into it, Erin, I'm sure that we're coming down to that point again where we get to really have this very powerful opportunity. And last year when we talked, just to hear some of those stories were just more than powerful. And how are you guys preparing this time around?
So this time, we're doing a lot of the same work, but we're getting out there in the community a lot more, just to kind of share the word about the event. So for those in your audience that aren't familiar with Life Story is a run and walk for suicide prevention. It's actually happening in Marion, Illinois on September 7th. However, we do offer a virtual option. So if you have been impacted by suicide, have a loved one that has been impacted by suicide, we encourage anyone, no matter where they're located, to join this movement and help make a difference and let people know that suicide is preventable, that there's more to their life, there's more to their story. Get your friends, your family, your colleagues together, create a team, and walk where it's convenient for you. This year, one of the things that we are doing differently, which I am very proud of, is we have added on our registration form, if you are walking in honor or in memory of someone, and if you're comfortable with sharing that person's name, we'll be recognizing all of those individuals.
Wow.
Some people are a little skeptical when I say that because they're not sure how we're going to be honoring those individuals. But at our start and finish line, we will have a poster board that will state, something along the lines of, not only did I participate in Centerstone's Life Story 5K for myself, but I also participated in honor or in memory of, and have all of those individuals' names listed. And another thing that we are doing is this year we are offering in honor and in memory of bibs. You can select whichever one works best for you, or if you need more than one, if you're walking for more than one person, and those will be blank so that you can write in the names of those individuals if you like, and attach those to your shirts as well.
Well, and on top of this too, Erin, is the fact that last year when we were talking, it kind of stuck with me that, it's a very diverse group of people that are there, remembering and paying honor to their loved one that, obviously had that terrible situation. And whenever you're up there, whenever you're talking to maybe somebody that's just now going for the first time, or maybe this is their first experience at an event of this type of any kind, what's their reaction whenever they realize that maybe they aren't as alone as they think they are?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question, because we actually did a survey to our participants last year after the event. And the feedback that we got was just amazing. People shared that this is a much needed event, that this is something that, a lot of communities are not doing. They're not getting out there and recognizing, the prevention of suicide and the awareness of suicide prevention. They talked about how impactful the event was, how meaningful it was to them. They shared that our Life Story 5K, I'm not sure how many 5Ks you've done, but a typical 5K, you show up and they, say runners and walkers start, and you take off racing, and then you come back and they divvy out the awards. We actually bring in a guest speaker. Last year's guest speaker was a mother who lost her son to suicide after returning home from the war. So we actually bring in a guest speaker who shares their story and just kind of resonates with the audience. We had several people that were out there that don't typically do 5Ks, just to honor or remember a loved one that they knew that was impacted by suicide. And just the opportunity to connect with other people that are there, that are going through the same situation. While so many of us have been impacted, know someone who has been impacted by suicide, those that have children or significant others, or they themselves have had suicidal thoughts or intentions, to be able to talk with someone else who completely understands what they are going through is phenomenal.
Well, and I was just on RiverBender.com, which is the hub for all of this wonderful information regarding this Life Story 5K run and walk for suicide prevention, and just seeing some of the different quotes, some of the different feedback that you guys received. And this is where I find it powerful. I walked with a friend whose daughter had contemplated suicide. She made it through and is still writing her story. So glad I could attend. It was helpful to hear from the speaker about her experience. Many runs have a cause, but you don't always get to hear the reason why. And what I think's powerful about that is that even if maybe just I'll play the role of the friend's daughter. Maybe that daughter was there and after all the years and maybe 5 years later through that battle, you're going back to some races and events like this and realizing, wow, we really did overcome something monumental. Look at all these families that are here. Look what we worked through together. But also on the flip side of that, so many families can come together and really have that safe and secure place to really celebrate their loved one's life as well.
Exactly. So, suicide is unfortunately one of the leading causes of death for our youth. This year, we really want to make sure that youth realize there's help out there. There are other ways that they can overcome their fears, their anxieties, whatever thoughts that are going through their head without harming themselves, to understand that their life matters, their story matters. So in order to do that, we've eliminated the costs this year for all youth 18 and under. Youth 18 and under, whether you're participating in person or you're participating virtually, you get to participate for free. Use the promo code STUDENT and it will eliminate the cost. You'll still get the shirt, you'll still get the medal.
That's what I
We
was gonna.
just want people to know. And if anybody out there is willing to sponsor to help let students come for free, please get in touch with me, Erin.Camfield at Centerstone.org. We're looking for more sponsors so that we can not only let all of these youth attend for free, but also to provide direct support for people who are seeking mental health treatment.
Well, and Erin, I'm so glad that you are going down that line here, because that's exactly where I wanted to go next with it, is that you guys are really making this for everybody as affordable as possible. You know, I also saw that veterans and active military get a $5 discount. Are there any other discounts that maybe we can relay to our audience that you know of that we can throw out there today?
Yes, college students as well. If you're in college, I get it. I went to college at one point in my life too. I know how limited funds are. So if you are a college student, use the promo code college and you'll receive a $15 discount. We are keeping it, regular registration cost is $35, which is typically your average cost. We are not implementing a cost increase as it gets closer to the date. We want to keep this affordable for everyone because, again, while of course it is a fundraising event so that we can raise money for Centerstone and we can raise money for mental health and substance use treatment here in Illinois. And this is for just because the event's in Marion, the funds don't stay in Marion, they stay in Illinois. So it's reaching the clients that are being served in the Alton area. It's reaching the clients that are being served in all of our service areas in Illinois. But yes, anyone that can sign up, and students free, college students $15 discount, military and first responders $5 discount, and create a team. If you create a team by August 5th, you can have your team name printed on your shirt if you have 15 or more people on your team. So go out there and put, the name of whoever you're participating in Life Story for on your shirt. Get 15 of your closest family and friends to join you, and again, support a good cause, and really just get out there and be a part of this event, and be an advocate for suicide prevention.
Well, and on top of that too, maybe if folks can't run in that event, or maybe they want to do it in a different fashion, I also see that volunteer options are available to really help Centerstone and the team out. Could you fill us in on some of the opportunities that are there?
Yes, absolutely. We are still looking for volunteers. Obviously, we have the registration we have set up. We have a welcome center where people can go and get questions answered, such as where's the restroom? Where do I get water from? We have people, we need people to help assist with the water stop for our runners and walkers. And passing out medals whenever they cross that finish line. And then, of course, just standing along the course and cheering them on and letting them know that they're not out there alone, that there is a big support system out there for them.
And Erin, who's speaking this year?
So this year's speaker is Anna and Erin Goletz. They are actually both employees of Centerstone. Anna works with our military services department, and they are a military family. So they will be speaking about their own
Yeah.
story with how suicides impacted their lives, and what it's like being a military family.
And that's going to be a very powerful presentation. I could only imagine, and honestly, one that so many around here, especially in Southern Illinois, even throughout Illinois, can really grab onto. With so many being military families, and hearing that side of things as well is very, very insightful. And as we're talking about this as a whole, Erin, I want to go back to your sponsorship opportunities because we're still early enough in the financial year where I always like to make sure if, business owners or corporations out there that tune in, they always get their budgets lined up and they always have their items lined out for the year. But this is a great cause. And what are some of those fun sponsorship options for us one more time? They are tax deductible, correct?
Yes, all sponsorship opportunities are tax deductible. And one of the good things about Life Story is while we have a certain benefits that come along with certain levels of sponsorship, you can contribute to Life Story really at any amount that fits within your budget,
Mhm.
and you're going to get recognized, because really we want the people who are out here walking and running to know what organizations support this suicide prevention and awareness. I'm a very philanthropic person, so I tend to like to pay attention to
Yep.
which businesses in my community provide philanthropic support. And those are the organizations that I tend to lean towards, whether it's calling someone to, check out my plumbing issues or service my AC or whatever, those are the ones that I go to first. I go to the ones that I know are in support of the community that we live in. So, know that your sponsorships do make an impact in the client, the customers that you attract. But we have levels, like I said, that start out with whatever level you're comfortable with, what fits in your budget. The $500 sponsorship level is really what we're kind of advertising to get youth there for free. A $500 sponsorship pretty much allows 15 youth to attend for free at no cost. It covers the cost for 15 youth.
Mm.
And then 1,000 and up is you get to also get free participation in Life Story. So if you do a sponsorship level of 1,000 or more, we're going to send you a promo code so that you can allow some people to participate in the event for free. And then, of course, you'll get all kinds of promotion for your sponsorship.
Well, and it's one of those things where regardless of getting that propped up position where folks know, yeah, this is a wonderful company that's supporting this great cause. The fact that a business owner could say, you know what, for $500 I can make sure that 15 young people have the opportunity to really learn about some of the complexities that come with suicide prevention, and think about what that could do to it. Always takes a village, right, Erin? And if that
It does.
starts it, who knows where that leads to.
It does take a village. And, it doesn't have to be a business either. If a person wants to provide a sponsorship, they can. I myself provided a $500 sponsorship so that 15 youth could attend for free. So,
That's
I
cool.
welcome others. I encourage others to make that $500 donation, and just let your community know that this is something that is important to you and you are in support of it, and mental health as a whole.
Well, and Erin, throughout the year, I'm sure that you guys tackle a lot, and there's so many things that I'm sure come in and out of Centerstone. But take me through what makes this event so special for you, and it seems like this is something that you really have marked on your calendar the second the last one's done.
It is. It's a full year's worth of planning for this event. We already, as soon as this one is over, I will be talking with the complex to make sure that it's open for us again next year, which they already have us penciled in. They've already
No.
told us that this event can happen there every single year.
Wonderful.
And it's this event has been happening in Florida for over 20 years, and we are the first state outside of Florida that offer a Centerstone, where Centerstone provides services, that has elected to take on this event, and it's growing. Tennessee's next. We are going to have this event in all of our locations, hopefully at some point. And it's just, this is what we are about. This event represents Centerstone as a whole. And there's no better event that, like I said, it just is so much more than just a 5K. I go to 5Ks all the time, and I'm always one of the last ones to finish this across the finish line. So I know that I'm not getting an award, and there's no reason for me to stay behind. So I just get in my car and I leave after I do the 5K. This one, there is a reason to stay behind. We're sharing a connection with the audience members, and it's just, the whole event is so impactful. And if you can make the trip to Marion on September 7th to experience this event in person, you will see how truly magical this event is. It's hard to put in words how wonderful this event is attending in person.
Well, and Erin, I think too, it's such a great thing to highlight. Going back to what you said about how it encompasses who Centerstone truly is, and we've talked, and I talk every day about the services you all provide for the Recover With Us campaign, but it goes more than that. Centerstone isn't a template organization. It's not an organization that goes, well, here's the sheet of paper we've kind of run by for 30 years, and here's what we're going to do for the next 30. I think that what's so powerful about even having these interviews and segments the way that we've had them, and then all these events, is that you guys really dive deep and you find all of the different nuances that could lead to that certain umbrella, right? That certain category, whether it's suicide prevention, substance use disorder treatment prevention options. And I think that's why the community responds so well. And I'm curious to know your thoughts and how much work really goes into dissecting each of those categories.
Oh. I don't know if you're familiar with the Research Institute that we have, but we actually, we are so much more than just your mental health treatment center. From the Research Institute, we have a whole institute that does research on the best practices, the recommended practices. They provide training to employees on new ways to provide treatment. They're doing simulation training right now, which I have not taken the simulation training, but I have seen it, and it is amazing. The feedback that we get for that simulation training from our counselors and providers is phenomenal. We're always changing. We're looking for the newest advancements within mental health. And one of the things that I am just the proudest of with Centerstone is we were one of the integral organizations to help develop 988, the crisis hotline number, and we are now a 988 call center for the state of Illinois.
From the 618, can't thank Centerstone enough for all of the work that they've done to help me on my journey. There you go. Little text line coming in for you. Well, and that's what I think's cool too, is that, there's so many times, Erin, that we sit there and we don't really look into our own neighborhoods. We just look into our own lives, and we don't see that there's so much more that makes up our communities. And it's great to have an organization that kind of encompasses every aspect of that community. And getting back to Life Story, which is a wonderful opportunity, a 5K run and walk for suicide prevention on the 7th of September in Marion. Have you had a conversation with maybe a parent, a loved one of an individual that made that decision, unfortunately, and what that day means for them? Because I can only imagine the different feelings and the different emotions that come into play whenever you lose somebody and then you're at an event such as this.
Yes, actually, our speaker last year, who lost her son to PTSD, she was not only a speaker, but she was my son's former teacher when he was in elementary school, and someone that I consider a close friend. I remember the day that it happened, and I see all of her posts on social media when it's the anniversary of his death, or it's his birthday, or it's a holiday, or it's just a regular day and she sees a dragonfly and she's thinking of her son. Um, and so I know how emotional this journey is for her, how sad this journey is for her. And I know that on the day of the event, it was the first time that she spoke publicly about her son's death. And she was honored. She said, "I'm so honored to do this." She said, I thank you for asking me to do this. And she said, "Well, it's a story I don't, I never would have wanted to share, um, to be able to reach other people and connect with other people and share his story, means so much to her." So very thankful, very grateful for the event. It's sad. I've lost two people that were close to me at some point in my life to suicide. um, you know, and I know like the girl that I'm walking in memory of, she has a young son who will celebrate every single birthday without his mom, because of suicide. So, this event is really about getting out there and making sure that there's no more kiddos out there that are celebrating their birthdays without their parents, or parents celebrating holidays without their kids. So, and also, I wanted to share too that we do have on our committee, a mom of a youth who had suicidal thoughts, and he is here with us today. And he has been a big, huge advocate. He is very proud of this event, and he's excited about this event. And he shares this event. He says there needs to be more things like this out there. Kids need to know that there is help.
Yeah.
So, these are coming from survivors, that this is a much needed event.
Well, and Erin, the last time I spoke with you, and I still, going back to the start of this interview, swore it was in March. I really did. I swear I touched on. I remember last year talking with you about this, and the fact that I thought it was so cool that a national organization such as Centerstone, that's had this event in other spots, is now starting to see this translate into different states and bringing this closer. The amount of people you're going to bring together, and the amount of empowerment that you're going to provide, because I'm sure, and nobody, anyone that's never gone through it doesn't know. The only people that know what this feels like are the ones that unfortunately have gone through those situations. And, from your perspective on that day with, you losing a couple of people very close to you, what type of empowerment does that provide? What's that feel like to know that, we are here in a very tragic situation, but we're also here to help prevent additional situations to occur? Am I on the right page here with that? Because I can't even begin to describe what that feels like.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this event is not just about remembering those who may have had suicidal thoughts or have attempted suicide, but you're exactly right. It's about empowering individuals, families. It's about letting them know, like, what kind of help is out there. There's no shame in the thoughts and feelings that you're having.
Yeah.
You know, we all have struggles in our lives, and when you have struggles, it's important that you have a support system. And if you don't have a mental health support system and you're struggling with your mental health needs, there is help. Centerstone is here to help. We're offering like a health and wellness expo portion to it though too. So any health and wellness organization in Southern Illinois community that wants to come out and provide details about services that they provide, they're welcome to set up for free. Because again, we want people to know what Centerstone does and that Centerstone is a resource for them. But more importantly, we want them to know about all the resources that are available to them if they are struggling with any mental health issues.
Well, and Erin, what's that email again? One last time so we can connect.
It's Erin, ERIN, Camfield, CAMFIELD, at centerstone.org.
I always love chatting with you, Erin, and you know, I really hope that we get the opportunity to continue to have conversations with Centerstone after this campaign's over with. We hope to do a couple of more because so many people have just connected with these, and if we've helped one person, then it's a invaluable, really priceless campaign. And Erin, thank you so much for your time. I hope that the life story run and walk for suicide prevention on the 7th of September goes well, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. At 9:47, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more of our daily show right here in studio. And